I'm going to tear down a website called Content Drips in just a few minutes here and show you some things that you should be applying to pretty much any software website out there. And specifically for Content Drips, some ideas to make this page convert better, flow a little bit more, have better copy, and all that good stuff. So let's dive right into it. All right, so first thing I'm going to do here, I like the social proof at the top, but I'm not sure it's contextual enough. When I look at it, I get kind of what it's saying, but I wonder if it could be confusing without some extra context. But instead of just taking this all and moving it further down and adding a headline on top of it, one idea that I have here is kind of combining this element of social proof at the very top with this image. Now, what this would look like is instead of having, so I think this is the founder that is his account is like listed here showing building his account content, right? What if we kind of flip that and put these people in there? Obviously, we don't have to have them actually hop on a camera or anything, but their content should be in here. And we can have subtle ways of saying these people actually use this product. To me, that's an even more impactful way. We could also just go for bigger influencers, like put Alex Hormozy on there, put Tony Robbins there, whoever, put them in their content in there, and just show that being built out. That could honestly be just as powerful as social proof and be able to push the rest of the content further up the page, which I think would be helpful. This is not a typical precedent for where social proof will go. Although it should be above the fold, it probably shouldn't be at the top of the fold. So that would set a better expectation for how this page should be laid out. Now, in terms of the rest of it, it's really straightforward, really easy to be directed visually to where I should go. So that's one thing I'm looking for right off the bat when I land on a page. Are you making me think too hard about that action that you want me to take? Are you making me think too hard about what message I'm supposed to be getting? In both cases, I think it does a pretty good job. It's really simple, straightforward, not a ton of frills around. The eyes are directly pointed toward the center to this button and to the graphics. So that does a great job. With the copy, it's also pretty simple. Create stunning social media graphics in minutes. Now, copy-wise, I'm not going to dive too deep into this, but words like stunning, empower, enable, streamlined, like these are words, whether it's an adjective, an adverb, these are just kind of ChatGPT words that I try to avoid and find more concrete ways of saying this. So instead of create stunning social media graphics in minutes, how do we flip that and basically make it almost a quote that somebody would say? Like what are the words a customer would say that had an awesome result using this? That's more along the lines of what I would put here. It'll be more emotionally connective. It'll sell a vision, sell a dream more than it will tell you exactly what the thing is. And one way that we can get both of those pieces of context together is by basically transforming this social media graphics or AI social media graphic generator, whatever the core keyword is, put it into a label above in smaller text. We've all seen that format 1,000 times by now. Label, emotional headline, extrapolate on it in the subheader, and then a very direct call to action that tells you exactly what's on the other side of the click, which I think this button does a pretty decent job of that. So that's above the fold. I love the visual here. Again, I think we could weave social proof into it, kind of get the best of both worlds for that, and potentially add even more social proof underneath this for maybe brands that use it, if this is looking to go a little bit up market at some point in the future. Could also basically have social proof in the form of customer videos fairly close to the top here, where they talk through how they actually use content drips. And that would be a powerful exercise in building trust as well. Now, going through here, this is like really, really boilerplate, which might actually work to this page's advantage. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's really easy to read. That said, there's not a lot interactive going on. There is a GIF, and this does look nice, and it's high resolution, and that's all important. Just in terms of the text, it's pretty simple AI graphic templates. It's just telling you straight up what it is every time. There are going to be a subset of people that actually appreciate how on the nose that is. There are going to be other people that just will resonate way more with emotional copy. So it's a hard balance to strike. I'm always more of the opinion of let's put these things into a label and then find an interesting way to connect to the audience in our H2s through something more emotional. So I would do that there. Scrolling through, I like this section a lot. Again, I think copy is what is probably holding some of this back. It's not giving me the full story on what's possible. And that said, if I go back up here, one section that I actually think would be really awesome here is a before and after. So smack dab in the middle of the hero and diving into the features. In between there, a before and after table or checklist or whatever format makes the most sense of not just content drips versus a competitor, but rather this is the old way of doing things without AI, without content drips, and this is what it looks like with. So you could really pull on some archaic practices where before it looked like brainstorming everything totally from scratch and designing all of your slides in Canva and doing this manually, and it takes hours and hours and hours, and you can hammer home all the pain points that people are probably still doing that process, the old process, in droves today, and then correlate that line by line with the positive spin that content drips solves. So the before and after, I think that's a section that makes a lot of sense for something like this. Pretty much any AI driven app or software at this point is a really good case study for the before and after section. I've seen it just work really, really well in giving more context and awareness. I think that those are the core things, because a lot of this page follows that similar structure where it's just image on the right, basic text on the left. I think there's a lot to be done with the copy there, probably showcasing a little more of the benefit. You don't get a whole lot of that. You do get a lot on the feature side of things. And there are some conflicting styles here. While every section on its own looks really crisp and easy to digest, which is awesome, by the way. The second half of this, though, is you've got this hero, but then you've kind of got this feature section, okay, and then a different background color for that one to separate them, okay. Then this purple blue section that looks very different than everything else that I would guess came after the fact. This is probably a new one. And then you go back to the same format before, and then you've got a slightly different card thing going on here, and then you've got different cards here, and then this section right here. So this is kind of the before and after. I would bump this up and make this way more built out, like 10 to 15 pain points on the left-hand side, and then all of the awesome things that Content Drips does to solve that on the right-hand side. But again, you can see how the design for every element is good. It's really simple and easy to read, digestible, but as an aggregate, it's actually conflicting with itself a lot. So I think even just simplifying this whole thing, if that meant white background for the whole thing and then dark text, and then you built back up from there, that might make this page a little bit less visually confusing, because we don't want to add any friction at all to how people are going through and being able to digest the content here. I also wonder if the page is a little bit too long. We could potentially just cut it down and then have, I think there's a features page as well that dives into a lot of these things much deeper. So there's a chance that this is probably just too long of a page. So there's a few ideas there on how I would improve this page in particular. A lot of things that I probably missed as well, but excited to hear your comments below. Let me know if this was helpful to anybody watching this. And if you would like your website, quote unquote, torn down, I'm not really going to criticize it or anything, but give you some free advice in a video, drop a comment below this post and I will do that for you.